Living Corporate is brought to you by The Break Room. Have you ever felt burnt out, depressed, or otherwise exhausted by being one of the onlys at work? You know what I'm talking about. Hosted by Black psychologists, psychiatrists, and PhDs, The Break Room is a live weekly web show in the Living Corporate network that discusses mental health, wellness, and healing for Black folks at work. Name another weekly show explicitly focused on mental health, wellness, and healing for Black folks at work. I'll wait. This is why you got to check out The Break Room, airing every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on livingcorporate.tv.
What's going on, Living Corporate? It's Tristan, and I want to thank you for tapping back in with me as I provide some tips and advice for professionals. Today, let's dive into how we can secure remote work if we aren't looking to return to the office. It's undeniable that the pandemic has changed how, when, and where people work. According to U.S. Census data, before the pandemic, only about 5.2% of the workforce worked from home full-time. But according to a recent Gallup poll, that number is closer to 58% right now. Now that more people are getting vaccinated, restrictions are being lifted, and workplaces are starting to open back up, many employers want to get their employees back into the office ASAP. But according to a FlexJobs survey, 65% of remote workers would prefer to stay fully remote after the pandemic, and 58% said they would look for a new job if they weren't allowed to continue working remotely in their current role. Unfortunately, we know that many companies are not ready to move to an entirely remote workforce. So what can you do? According to that same FlexJobs survey from earlier, 33% of professionals would prefer a hybrid working situation after the pandemic. If you fall into that category, or you're just not ready to leave your current employer, you could negotiate a hybrid work situation. First, you'll want to request a meeting with your boss to discuss your options. Prepare questions to get a good understanding of the company's plan to return to the office and what opportunities for remote work may look like. From there, I suggest working on a proposal for your meeting. This proposal should include an outright request to work from home for a certain number of days a week, your reasoning for the request, any professional or work-related benefits of this arrangement, and an outline of your potential schedule and team communication plan. Next, practice this presentation and try to anticipate any questions or concerns they may have so you can brainstorm your response. Lastly, if you don't receive an immediate yes, I'd ask what concerns your manager had and work on addressing or mitigating them. Now, if you aren't feeling a hybrid model and your company isn't ready to move to 100% remote work, then your next option is finding a new job. Remote employers are more likely to hire employees with remote experience. So first, you want to make sure you highlight the remote experience you have in your resume and cover letter. You can blatantly state it in the summary, in this experience section, and even in your skills section. Next, you want to make sure you're looking for remote jobs in the right places. There are a lot of scams when it comes to remote work, and places like Indeed are full of them. Some of my favorite sites include www.flexjobs.com, www.JustRemote.co, and www.WeWorkRemotely.com. You can also use the remote filter option on the LinkedIn job posting board. According to FlexJobs, there was a 76% increase in fully remote job positions in 2020 over 2029. Though you may have some competition, the roles are out there. This tip was brought to you by Tristan Layfield Resume Consulting. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Layfield Resume, or connect with me, Tristan Layfield, on LinkedIn.